Norm over here, and I have my really good buddy, James Santiago over here. And James is the genius behind the aux pedal and a lot of other stuff for Universal Audio.
Bunch of fun stuff, studio things and guitar stuff, and yeah, sometimes I just feel like the audio janitor, just looking for things to clean up and solving mysteries, and we got a good one today.
We got a good mystery to tell you. This is kind of an interesting story. So, as far as guitars go, when you were younger, somebody loaned you a guitar like this?
Yeah, the first time, and I should specify, I was 15. I had a Squier Stratocaster, the first run of Squiers.
Right.
But then some neighbor goes, "Oh, you have one of those?" Well, I have one in the closet. He pulls it out, and it is a ¡62 Refin Fiesta Red Stratocaster. He's like, "Well, I got this old thing. You want to play it?" I'm like, yeah, because the minute I noticed the spaghetti logo that I'd only seen in books, I was like, holy crap, this is like the real deal. And so I played it. I took it to a high school jazz band in the morning. So in church, I was a Catholic school kid. And I get a call one day. It's like, hey, so my cousin's back in town. We need that guitar back. And then all of a sudden I find out, because I was taking it out, I get it. Somebody offered him some more money and he sold it. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll never see that again. And then I had another one that unfortunately was a reissue, and even that got stolen. So I felt like Fiesta Red was not the time for me.
Well, keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah, this
so
right
this
here.
is a Refin Fiesta Red
62.
Very kind of serendipitous.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of the Fiesta Reds, this was owned by a guy named Malcolm Godfreys, and he was English. And, Hank Marvin was known for playing a Fiesta Red Strat. Yeah. And so a lot of the British guys had their Strats either refinished over sunburst or had them refinished this color because of Hank Marvin.
Hank, and this is where it gets weird, is Hank was also one of the first endorsers of Vox amps, like AC30s and things. Yep. So there's a lot of pictures of Hank with this Strat and like an AC30. And then this is where we also sort of come together with the reason I was here that Tuesday, which was I shouldn't have been here, I should have been working, is a friend came to visit me at Sound City where I have a little R&D room. He came on the wrong day. I'm like, whoa, it's Tuesday, I thought you'd come to Wednesday. Said, fine, let me just brush my teeth and comb my hair and we'll head over to see Norm. And where he met me that day was the reason why we were looking at it. I found this, I was like, well, I can't leave without this. But then we decided to go to lunch.
Right. So what's kind of really interesting is, and this is also serendipitous and kind of wacky, we're sitting there and James says to me, yeah, I'm involved with some stuff with Sound City, and I've got all these old tapes, a lot of them we don't even know who the people are, who made those tapes. And so I said, well, my band used to record at Sound City back in the day in '73. And James said, what's the name of the band?
Yeah.
And I said, Charlie Dog. Oh. And he goes, wait a second, C Dog? And
so my eyes lit up. And because the whole reason I've been there was we did a UA plugin called Sound City where we emulated the room and the sound of the console. So for years I've been researching every engineer, every band, every microphone that was put in that room. And I have access to every piece of paper and tape from the archives. So I'm probably the only person that has it in his head. The minute you said that, all my brain saw was, whoa, I found a 2-inch a year ago that just said C-Dog, and it was too good of a mystery not to pull it and find out what it was, except there was never a band that released a record called C-Dog, so I put it away. And there's all of these, which is a great early 70s period of bands that were coming through there, of Buckingham Nicks, Fleetwood Mac was about to come over there.
Rick Springfield, War, all these guys.
Waddy Wattell was one of the guys who was just always there with Keith Olsen. Yep. So I knew if these tapes were sitting there, somebody's great is on them, but I needed to figure out these mysteries. And I'm literally sitting there with, I think, a eggplant parmesan thing, and you say Charlie Dog, I was just like, I just kind of felt like, holy crap, this cannot be happening. This same day I find this, and you're telling me this, I could see the tape.
He said, I've been wondering about that band for years, who that was. And I said, well, that was my band in 1973. And so he found the tapes, and here are the track sheets for a couple of the tunes.
And guess whose name's on organ and vocals?
Yeah,
Norm. No last name. Remember, if you
Right,
only had
yeah.
this, you would go, well, Norm who?
right.
Who is this?
And
but now you
here,
can clear tell us.
Richard Dashett, who was our producer engineer, also ended up producing Fleetwood
Yep.
Mac. And and you're friends with Sandy Skeeter.
And Sandy,
too.
who still owns the place, and her dad had another partner that would look for
Joe
bands.
Godfrey.
Joe Godfrey. So it makes sense that Godfrey was looking for bands and bringing them in. And you know, when I see these names here, you realize like Richard Dashett in '73 was, you know, one of the assistants. I worked with Keith Olsen, and there were a few other guys around then.
That was just before Fleetwood Mac blew up.
that's
You know,
right.
so he was not well known. And
Right, everyone was just working the gig and wanting to be in the studio.
yep,
And then you realize, you know, this is a real critical period because you get to 74 and 5, and again, just the person who was assigned to you to just be the engineer and try to produce and really get on their feet, be a producer, ended up being a hit producer within a year later and being
Yep.
known for this. And same thing for Keith. And again, I think you actually hinted the fact that you remember seeing Lindsay and Stevie.
oh yeah,
Around the studio.
I mean, Buckingham Nicks and Lindsay and Stevie and Waddy, and there was a whole group of people that used to carry on there, and there was a lot of carrying on
Yeah.
back in the day.
We've heard there's some fun, but a lot
Yeah.
of, in fact, some of the players also that don't get a lot of mentions. There was another guy named Jorge Calderon. I think he ended
Yeah.
up working with like Warren Zevon later.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of different people that were
Jerry
good
Sheff,
musicians.
bass.
Jerry Sheff, absolutely.
A lot of just killing
Well,
players.
his
dad,
dad
right?
played with Elvis.
Yep.
And if you look at the date on this, it's New Year's Eve, 73, 12/30,
73.
or not quite New Year's Eve,
Yeah,
almost
but-
New Year's Eve of 73.
Now, how old were you when in 73?
Maybe about 25 or
Wow.
something, 24 or something.
And how many years had you been here from Florida at that point?
I came out in 1970 with my band with Bobby Caldwell. We had a band called Kathmandu, and so we came out in 70. And you know, this is just prior to me opening the store, and I was kind of buying and selling guitars on the side and all that. But this is so weird because we're sitting there in this restaurant and we're talking about this, and as soon as I said the name Charlie Dog, he goes, "See, dog." I mean, it was like he found the Strat
Oh, my
that
God.
he'd been looking for years.
40
And then-
years actually at this point
Yeah.
since I was a kid.
And
yeah.
then he's looking at this tape for a year or two, going, "I wonder who those guys are." And he was eating lunch with one of them.
And it gets worse because I've been looking for an actual man named Charlie Dog. And then you finally, what did you tell me?
It was named after our guitar player. He had a white Samoa dog.
A dog, an
Samoan.
actual dog.
And it was named after the guitar player's dog. So
No wonder I never found him. I was like, I got to find this Charlie Dog guy. He wrote some songs.
and we were pretty popular in LA. We used to play. We were one of the house bands at the Topanga Corral and a bunch of other places. We would back up a lot of blues people like Albert Collins, and
Oh, man.
a lot of those people didn't have much of a career back in the day, and they were looking for some bands to back them up, and they liked us, so we backed a number of the groups.
Oh, well, it was funny. The one thing you did also tell me that you remember, like, being in the hallway, and again, you've got two guitar players on here, right?
Yes.
Two of them. But then you also said, I seem to remember Waddy having a Sunburst Les Paul. You actually.
Oh
in
yeah,
the back
Waddy
you're remembering the
had John
guitars.
Sebastian's Sunburst Les Paul, and I remember, actually seeing it and fooling around playing it. Had a repaired neck, I believe, back in the day, but it was a really nice guitar, and so it was just so weird, all of this stuff happening together. And I just thought it was kind of a cool story to let you know, because most people don't know I ever played any music. By the way, James mixed the one tune, which was a cover of an O.V. Wright tune that I did called "I Love the Way You Love," and James got a better sound on it on the mix than we did back in the day.
Well, the crazy thing is, I'm listening to this and I'm hearing this really powerful vocal. I'm thinking, wait a minute, that's definitely you. I'm just not used to hearing you. Would again, it's 50 years in between us talking now and hearing you sing this really powerful with this grindy organ kind of band killing.
I had an attachment to the B3 that went directly into an amp, so I had an amp that I had, like, I could put a little distortion on, and it would go directly into the amp, so it was pretty powerful.
It was distorted. It definitely heard a little grindy thing going on.
Yeah.
And I kept looking at the sheet going, to my buddy Nora, I can't believe I've been sitting here listening to this for a year, and it was you. And now I hear the voice, I can't unhear it.
Well, we'll have to let you listen to a little of it. Again, I'm embarrassed. I mean, it belongs where it is, where nobody ever could hear it.
No, too late, too. It was in the secret vault for 50 years. It's time to let a little piece of this out.
All right. Well, it's part of my history.
Yeah.
Anyhow, thank you guys for watching the video. I thought it was just an interesting story. And this guy can really play great guitar. Play a little bit on this thing. Let's hear what this thing does.
And just so you know, I got it and immediately new frets, new nut, so it's all playable.
It's ready to go?
It's ready to go. So it's kind of good. Didn't quite hit that, did I?
Almost. It's happening, though.
You have to dock me
It's
like a
tasteful.
buck, yeah.
By the way, who's this young lady? Is that Sandy?
No, this is actually Brenda.
Brenda.
From Sound City.
Well, I said that
Marketing.
Sound City
Representing.
sweatshirt representing Sound City.
I brought something for you.
Presents. And you've got actually a really great player down there. You've got Kurt in the house.
Yes, we do have Kurt in the house. So let's see if we can maybe get these two guys to play in another video that we're going to do in just a couple minutes.
Large or extra large?
Extra large for sure.
There you go.
Thank you very much, Brenda. I appreciate it.
Record a record, you get a t-shirt.
I like
apparently.
the sweater you're
After all these years,
Yeah,
I got a Sound City
You get a
t-shirt.
Two legends, right?
Sound City, one of the most legendary studios in
Man.
Los Angeles for so many years. So many great groups recorded
So,
there.
I mean, we're sitting in a legendary place, and the fact that these two things still exist, and you can go by that, Stu. The fact that I got to go in there and find your name in another historic place just kind of blows my mind.
Well, it blows my mind too that anybody would have not set it on fire. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching our videos. The great James Santiago, Universal Audio is the bomb. I mean, those guys are.
They're smart. I get to work with them, and I get
He's
to
the
come
house
here.
genius there.
No, I just get to come over here and hang out. That's what I'm lucky for doing that.
Well, should we get him to play a little more to take us out? Yeah, just take us out a little bit. Reminiscent of Curtis Mayfield.
I was kind of feeling the sort of Curtis, sort of Hendrix thing. You know, the great thing is the Strats are you just can't beat them for that.
James Santiago, thanks for watching our videos, guys. Love you all.